This is the Transformers Generations War for Cybetron Trilogy EARTHRISE Deluxe Class Trailbreaker. I picked up this figure from Our Toys. Let's get him out of packaging. And here is Trailbreaker out of packaging. And he looks great. I'll give you that. He is a heavy retool. Not so heavy, but a retool repaint of Hoist. EARTHRISE Hoist, which rightly so, because in G1 both these figures were sort of repaints or retools of each other. And this is probably the most G1 accurate Trailbreaker we've gotten from the Generations line. And finally we got the name Trailbreaker instead of like Trail Runner or Trail whatever. Hasbro's finally gotten the rights to the name, and I'm really happy with it. The figure looks okay. It looks great. In fact, the black plastic they use gives it that premium finish. What's really bugging me about this, and I know you guys are going to say I'm going to complain again too much. It's just me nitpicking, but I don't know why, but the plastic they used for the knees, this magenta plastic they used for the knees and the hips, the gray bits that they used for the thighs as well as the arms are really off-putting for me. It feels like you get such a premium product with the head sculpt and the torso and the arms, but then when you get to the forearms, the thighs, and this, especially this magenta plastic, it just feels so cheap. It's by far no means cheap, because when you touch it, it's pretty solid, but when you look at it, it feels like it's made of soft plastic. This Raider dish is from the Centurion drone, which had a bunch of accessories and weapons pack. We'll talk about that later in alt mode. But as it is, the plastic they used for the black pieces are absolutely fantastic. They look gorgeous. They have a little bit of that metallic sheen instead of flake. It's a matte finish that they've put, clearly something that you'd expect from the 80s, because the alt mode is an 80s truck. But these other bits of plastic are just turning me off. I don't know why. Anyway, he does come with his signature blaster. On the show, the left hand of Trailbreaker turned into this blaster. And even in the toy version, you could swap the blaster on any arm, and usually it's on the right arm or the right hand. So that's pretty cool. That away. In terms of the details, you get to see a remolded or retooled backpack right here. This backpack opens up and you can detach it, so it forms a shield, which is kind of corny for me. You don't really need to do so. I don't know why they made it detachable, maybe for assembly purposes, but you can keep it on his back and it will swivel out and reveal his weapons. You can store the weapons back right here. This is, I don't know, this was floodlights, I suppose, or a sonic emitter or something. I can't remember what he did with that on G1, but he's got a blaster right here. The old G1 toy, he had two blasters you could put, and the other one you could put on his hand. It should have been silver. I don't know why it's black, but if the choice was in this plastic or this, I would have gone with this one. So well done, Hasbro. And like I said, again, more of this magenta bit right here. I don't know why. They could have made it like a deeper or a lighter shade of red. Why is it magenta? I think red would have been a good choice. See right here, this piece right here is actually pretty okay versus this one. I don't know why there's a disparity, why they scrimped on some of the pieces. Articulation for the figure seems to be okay. Hardly any mold degradation except for the knees. On my copy, the knees are a lot loose than usual. The knees were really a little bit loose even on the Hoist figure, but so far so good. Hardly any mold degradation to complain about. Autobot logo right here, nicely painted. We'll talk more about the campos on the figure when we see him in alt mode. And for some size comparisons, here is Trailbreaker with Hoist and from the 2-pack EARTHRISE Ironhide. See, you can see that he belongs in the big deluxe class scale, which is great. So it'll scale nicely with the other figures in the Earthrise and War for Cybetron trilogy. And here's what I'm saying. If you look closely at the Hoist figure, a lot of the white pieces and the orange pieces feel so premium for some reason. I don't know why. It's the same plastic that they used for the kneecaps, different kind of plastic they used versus the arms, the gray bits, and versus the white bits of this one. It just feels so much more premium than the Trailbreaker. I don't know why they had to change their quality standards by retooling this mold, but I wish they could have retained the same kind of plastic quality they used for Hoist with Trailbreaker, because the black pieces are just absolutely superb. They really feel so premium, but when you get to these bits, they feel so, I don't know, they really look cheap, much like how I felt with the Ironhide plastic bits. It's very akin to this kind of quality issues. I mean, by no means, when you touch it, it just feels okay, but when you look at it, actually, even when you touch it, it doesn't feel as premium as the other plastic bits that they use. Like this one, it's exactly the same situation with this Ironhide figure. Lots of premium plastic applied to the torso and some bits of the arms and the feet, but when you get to some of the inner pieces, they just fall short. And I don't know, that's really putting a downer on this figure for me. So transformation. It's very simple, same as Hoist. Go ahead and rotate bicep like that, fold the arms like this. Let's tuck in the weapons, back like that, okay. Detach the backpack, fold down the head, okay. Keep the backpack just like that, fold the shoulders up like this, attach the torso to form the front part of the truck. Now this bit right here is gonna go like this, and then the legs are gonna fold up like this. Make sure to tab them nice and tight, and tab this piece right here. I'm gonna go ahead and fold the arms like this, fold them like this, fold the shoulders up like this. Okay, and then fold the forearms like this, and then the front part of the truck is going to fold down. Just make sure the arms are not in the way. Okay, like that. And the arms are just going to slot right here, there. Same with this one, slot them right there. Okay, that's the front part done. Now the legs, I'm gonna tab in right here, that, and then the back piece is just gonna slot onto those pegs right there. Hold on. Okay, just line them up. Okay, and there you go. There is Trailbreaker, finally, not Trail Cutter, in his Toyota Hilux 4-wheel drive, I believe, with the camper shell. The black doesn't seem to match, but I don't know, I'm totally fine with it. For some reason, the mismatching black and brown pieces actually work for me. I don't know why, okay? And the gun can fit right in here on top. Or if you have the radar dish from the Centurion drone, plug it in right here so that when Spike and Sparkplug camp out and they brought along Trailbreaker, you can put that along there. And then this one, you can actually peg it right here on this hole, but this is where the wheel clips on. So don't Don't push that peg all the way through, otherwise you're not going to be able to have a free rolling wheel. So just so your wheel can still roll, peg it just enough so that it holds. So yeah, it rolls very nicely. There's a bit of kibble scraping the ground, but not so much. Still good, still compact. It's a nice compression. I actually like this alt mode much better than Hoist. And here are some size comparisons in alt mode. We have Ironhide, Sunstreaker, Hoist, and Blue Streak. So it kind of fits nicely with them, albeit Sunstreaker is a little bit big on the big side, but I think the scale is fine. Now, these two are really what we're looking at in terms of comparisons. Yeah, Hoist is a great figure, but I think the mold fits Trailbreaker much better. Yeah, definitely. And so some final thoughts on this figure. It's a great figure. It's a great mold. It's very G1 in style. My only issue really was the magenta plastic and the gray plastic looked very cheap on this remold of the Hoist mold into Trailbreaker. But as it is, it's still a pretty good figure. It is going to get a 9.5 out of 10. I'm sorry that those magenta and gray plastic just brought the score down by a little bit. It's still worth getting. Definitely if you're a big fan of the G1 Autobots, especially in this War for Cybetron trilogy. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this figure. Do you agree with me? Do you think it's a pass? You're okay with Hoist only? You need to get everything? Hit me up in the comment section, and as always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. If it's your first time here, please subscribe. And if you want to help out the channel, help me make more video reviews, please check out my Patreon account. There is a link in the description box below. Any form of contribution will be greatly appreciated. As always, thanks for watching.